I've seen pictures where you have a long one.
A long
lens,
one?
that is.
Oh, yeah, I have a long lens. I have a long lens.
Yes.
Too.
2 long lenses.
And that's for photography that you do, yeah?
Thank you for supporting our channel. Thank you for supporting Wizan. Please like, subscribe, comment, and hit the notification bell for any future videos.
Yeah, it's just I picked it up because of COVID. We were locked in. I did photography before, obviously with the demos.
Yeah.
You know, I did photography and videography, and then it was like, just I sort of fell out with it for a while because I was doing street photography, and it's like, but you have to go somewhere to photograph people, you know, where they're happy to be photographed, like Brick Lane, Covent Garden, you know, Camden, and it's like it's such a hassle to go anywhere and do it. So I kind of sold all my equipment, and then for whatever reason, I bought. What did I do? I can't remember, but I bought the stuff again, and COVID hit. What am I going to photograph? Stuck in the garden. I'll put up some bird feeders, take some pictures of birds. Every morning for 12 hours a day, nothing else to do. I took my coffee down, my Rubik's Cube into the backyard, my camera, and you'd be sitting there and like, oh, what's flying over there? And then suddenly you see things you've never seen before. You're hooked. And it was like, once everything opened up, I'd go explore in Kent. Places I'd never seen in Kent. I'd been living there 20 years. Got me into the countryside. You know, gave me, because you know when you go out for a walk, sometimes you people, what's there to see, what's there to do? Now I have a reason to sort of go out and look for this thing, or you know, put a podcast in. You know, go for a walk, get the sun, and you're on a treasure hunt. Yeah.
Is there any way, all the pictures you've taken, is there any way for the public to see them?
They're all online. They're
all online. And
I've got a Twitter account, STORMCAB Birds, which has got 11,000 followers. And I've got a STORMCAB Facebook page, which I upload everything to. So if you Google STORMCAB, it's just like either go to the bird stuff, the cab stuff.
So you're more famous as a Twitcher than you are as a taxi driver.
Yeah, the thing is with the Twitch, I noticed that when I was posting pictures of birds, it was like when I did the Rubik's and the gym stuff, it's like cabbies going, oh, goodness. Okay, I have to do a separate account. And as soon as I opened that and I put some pictures up, numbers just were going, boom, shot up in the birding. There's just, I remember putting up a few bird pictures, like the cab posts would get 3 to 10 likes. If you got something really good, cab Twitter account, you get 50, 100 likes. But as soon as you put a bird picture up, semi-decent, it could be 500. And it's like, oh, I like this.
There's money in birds.
Money in birds.
It depends what kind of birds. The non-feathered type.
Well, yeah, there's always been money in the other type. It's only since COVID that you got into it. Yeah. So you was not in any way, shape, or form into.
You was because when I travelled, I went through all my albums, and if there was a colourful bird in the tree, I'd take a picture of it. If there was an animal, whatever animal there was, and it was there to be photographed, I'd take a picture. So you know, I'd been in Alabama, and I'd got rosette spoonbills, turkey vultures in
India,
in California.
Oh.
Osprey in Bahamas, and when I went to Jamaica, I was going through them from 2007. I didn't know what it was at the time. I thought they were the same bird, and it's like, oh, that's that bird, and 3 different birds I saw on the beach. So
it's not easy. And I mean, I'm just going to give you a little bit of some credit here because I've taken pictures of birds. They're all shit. Every picture you see, taking a picture that looks decent of an animal is not easy. To make it look, you have to really, photography is a lot harder than people think.
What have you got though? What type of camera and lenses? I mean,
I've got decent cameras. Yeah. I mean, like you said about going for a walk, I'm a scuba diver, and scuba diving became boring. You go under and you scuba dive and you get up again. And I thought, well, if we took pictures, it gets a little bit more interesting. But I can't see focus even on land. So once you put everything, all the water equipment underwater, I can't see if it's in focus or not, and I just trust the half.
Well, you got eye.
Yeah, I'm knackered. I've got one eye's long side, one's short side, and if you've got 2 different kinds of cameras. There's ones where you can actually look through, and then there's the others with a screen.
What have you got?
I've got both, but the one that I started looking through was I started to learn, but I'm not a very good photographer. So I'm underwater learning photography when really I should be on land learning photography and then understand it better. But I'm taking
underwater is super expensive.
Yes,
I did it.
Yeah,
and you need it's like the camera itself, the equipment, the case, and everything can cost 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, you can get a £500 camera that needs a £1,000 case,
and then strobe lights, and they're like £700.
And the thing about the strobe lights is it's 2 enormous strobe lights, and if you're like a meter away, there's nothing. There's no light at all. It ain't lighting up nothing. You have to be, the subject needs to be here and the strobe lights need to be here.
Yep.
So it was very difficult. And I have some good pictures, but it just is very, very difficult. And again, it's very difficult to make it interesting.
I did go to art college. In GCSE, I got an A star. GCSE art. A level, I got an A, and then I went to Central St Martin's.
I was going to say to you,
Bournemouth Arts Institute. So technically, I have an I. You know, so and then I just learned how to use it. And I will say, carrying the big camera and lens, it helps I lift. Because when I was recently in Costa Rica, I was on this river cruise, and I was on the boat taking pictures, and one of the women who was with a group of, I think she was Italian, said, "Did you get any good pictures?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I can't do it anymore. I can't hold the equipment; it's too heavy." So I'm sort of blessed in that way. Like, it's heavy. A lot of people walk around with it on a stick, you know, just to rest it. And I have it on my chest. I can just whip it up at any time. And I've got the strength to hold on for several minutes and focus on something that's like flying around. So it does, funny enough, and you see a lot of twitchers. There's photographer twitchers. There are ones that just walk around with binoculars or a little notebook. They don't do any photography.
Yes.
It's like, I saw this bird, and they're happy doing that.
I wouldn't be happy doing that.
Yeah.
I would learn the photography part, even though it's expensive and not easy.
Well, that's the funny thing about the expense thing. That's another subject. If I was on a bird photography podcast, I'd talk about it. It's like, my equipment is like the cheapest sort of you can get away with. Like, the lens I've got was 600 secondhand.
Oh, that's cheap.
800
for lens, yeah.
And I was worried when I bought it. I thought, this is going to be rubbish. So I bought it and to test it. Because the good thing about photography equipment is you can sell it quite quickly for the same price. So I bought it and I was well impressed. And what I've noticed is I know certain people who have got 7, 10, 20, 15,000 pound lenses, 5,000, 6,000 pounds cameras, and they put their pictures. I'm on a birding group on Facebook and other photographers on Twitter, and I know where their equipment is, and they can't take a picture for 20 grand's worth of stuff. And I've got an 1,100 pound camera and a 600 pound lens, and I can wipe the floor with a lot of them.
Yeah,
only because I know how to take the photo, get it in the correct light, the correct settings, and in the correct post editing afterwards.
Yeah,
and how to frame it, and just framing it alone can make your camera look like a 5,000 pound camera.
Do you do any cheating in photoshopping?
No, I refuse. No, I mean, have I done that? No, I mean, literally when it goes onto Photoshop, I might just ramp up the little bit of the contrast just to bring out some color. But I'm one of those people that's like, no, it has to look exactly as I saw it.
Yeah.
And immediately when I see people I can see they've added a sky or something.
Can you tell when something's been photoshopped? Can you see it if someone shows you?
Most of the majority of the time, yeah. I just know it's too
most
good.
people like me couldn't tell, could we?
I was watching a YouTube podcast, a YouTube thing the other day about people who'd won photographic competitions but were then chucked off. And the one that I remember was it was an upshot of tall buildings, or was it a stairwell? But it went out into the sky, and in the centre was an aeroplane. Yeah. And then when it turned down the contrast, there was a square around the aeroplane because it had been photoshopped in.
I remember that. You know what? When I was thinking that, I thought, I've been to places where that happens. Why did they have to do that?
Yeah.
Why did they have to cheat? I've been to countries where a plane has flown
central to some
buildings.
Yeah.
And the most recent one was like a picture that won an award. It was a setup, and I can't. They openly admit it. Is the one where you've like these Chinese women playing card games. One's got a card on her head or something.
Oh no, I've seen it.
And it's like, it was a massive setup. I don't know if it was to win the competition, but they said afterwards, "Oh no, it was a setup. We've won this." And yeah, I'd have to look into it whether it was they intended to win or it was like afterwards they learned that they'd won. But no, this was a setup picture for something. But it's now with AI, it's going to be. I don't know how. Nowadays, you just say, send us. Do you know what the raw files? Yeah. Send us the raw file because that can't be mucked around with.
Yeah,
and we'll know. We can see how much you can manipulate very, very slightly. If you just need to change contrast or something. But yeah, if it's like moving whole branches or backgrounds and stuff, then. But now with AI, I mean, I don't know how much raw files can be mucked around with.
Yeah. Well, the one I saw was this guy won for an elephant. Took a picture of an elephant, one of the National Geographic competitions, and he had swapped the ears. He took the right ear and put it on the left, and the left ear put it on the right, and it gave it more balance. And one of the ears was damaged, and they didn't spot that he'd swapped the ears. They thought he had cleaned up the ears because the ear on the left had a big chunk out of it, and the chunk was gone. So they thought he'd sort of photoshopped the chunk out to make the ear more beautiful. What they didn't realise is the chunk was missing on the other ear now. Right. He'd actually swapped the ears over, and he got it chucked out because of that, swapping the ears.
Yeah,
maybe a
massive. No, that's massive manipulation. Yeah, massive issue.
Photo was excellent still.
Yeah, but it's like then you could, you've got your artificial intelligence photos on. They're great photos to look at, but it's going to get the lines are going to get blurred in the future because it's going to be, the point is to make a nice photograph. And what's the difference between somebody going and get it organically, or just saying AI do me a shark riding on a bicycle over a landmine, on top of a 747 going through a volcano, being attacked by Cylons in Battlestar Galactica or something. Well,
you want a piece of art that hangs on your wall that is kind of unique. It's not from IKEA. I put in, I'm having them framed, the blurring is occurring. So
also happening in photography, there's a blurring occurring.
Yeah. So one of our podcasts is called "A Blurring is Occurring" with Trevor Merrills, and he basically says in the podcast, "The blurring is occurring." We thought it was funny. I've typed it into AI, and it gave me these 2 pictures that are amazing. They're kind of a street scene. There are people in it. You can see there are buildings in it, but it's all blurred and streaked, and it looks amazing.
Yeah.
So I've took them. I've 90 centimeters by 90 centimeters. I've had them printed, and I've had them framed, and I'll pick them up when I go back. They'll go in the bedroom. Nobody else in the world has those.
It's like, so what? You want it? Get it.
Yeah.
It's like in the photography world, there are, people that still use film. They're like, no, it's got to be done in a dark room and done on film, the old school way. And LPs, screw all that, CDs and digital nonsense. It's got to be
vinyl.
A needle and vinyl and blah blah blah.
Are you a vinyl man?
No, can't be bothered. I'm a mood guy. I'm like, skip. Yeah, I want to listen to this.
It's interesting, isn't it, that he started COVID, because did Tom the taxi driver?
Yeah, he started COVID. Yeah, I think COVID is probably responsible for quite a lot of things. I think it's a conspiracy. The governments wanted people to get off their asses and do things and be more creative, so they created a virus for people to actually, raise themselves up.
It's a hell of a cost.
Well, it did. Apparently, it created one new billionaire every day. Because all the people that were making money off of the back of PPI, pharmaceuticals, and then you're locked indoors. You can do nothing but sit online and buy stuff because you're depressed and anxious. Yeah. So you're just going on games, you're going buying stuff, drugs, drink, alcohol.
So basically, the other side of it though was people like yourself, and I think maybe myself as well. We were sitting there thinking, I've got to do something.
First thing I did was bought a model kit.
Do you remember what me and you was doing in the first lockdown of COVID?
Oh, was it going to...
I remember. We were doing like 14, 15-hour days, rewriting books and runs because all the streets are shut.
Yeah,
and we was locked to each other.
Yeah.
Weren't we trying to work out other routes and everything all day long. So I didn't have time to shop online.
Yeah. We was doing hours of work. So
this must be a nightmare for you with all these LTNs. Like suddenly that happens, you got to get rid of a whole book because one road change.
Yeah, when something gets so bad, you kind of give up. I kind of deflated it. It was you're trying to chuck buckets of water out the dinghy, and it's coming in faster than you're chucking it out. And I thought, I've got to just I'm going to let the boat sink, and that's what I did. And then decided, with your inspiration, we rebuilt it from the ground up because it just got too much. Because I've written, what am I at? 2,500 runs?
No, for 4,000.
4,000 runs.
It's over 4,000 if you count everything.
So if you imagine a run changes, right? I've got to check 4,000 runs. Now you can do it digitally, but it then, so you type in Bloomsbury Square, it comes up about 150 times. You go, oh shit, 150 runs to change. And if any one small change, I was always hoping it would be these obscure roads so that it didn't have many appearances. But it always wasn't, and it was just so inundating.
Well, I'm always of a mind, when you do something like that, you've just got to simply roll your sleeves up and start somewhere.
Yeah.
And you will get through it eventually. But it was massive.
It's
but we had time. Look at the time. It's lockdown. No one was going anywhere.
Yeah.
I had nothing to do all day.
Well, now it's got even worse though, David, because a guy messaged me the other day and he said, the book you sold me is book 2, it's out of date. I said, really? Because we now print directly from the app. The app's always up to date, and Fiona will print. So it's kind of as up to date you can get now, as up to the minute. And he said, yeah, there's this run through Streatham, goes through from Liam Avenue in Streatham. It doesn't work, so it's out of date. I said, well, that only changed like 3 weeks ago, and your book might have been bought. When did you buy it? He said, I bought it about 3 weeks ago. So you've literally bought your book. It could be the day before and the day after. And
you've got to stay with physical books still.
They like the old age pensioners like paper. It's
people,
really strange.
Some people still like it, don't they?
Yeah.
Paper instead of like an electronic iPad. They should be having the runs there because you can just press update and it updates it.
I still like a physical notebook. I do a lot of stuff in a physical. I've got one in the cab and one on my settee, and even my Rubik stuff. I just quickly show you. Like instead of I could sit on here and somehow structure one, but I find it quicker just to write it, draw it with a pen on my notebook, take a photo, and put it in the phone. It's still the technology.
That's actually a good idea. I am similar to that I want to take a note, but I won't open up Notepad because I'll never find it again. I'll put that note in there. I just don't work very well with it. But I do have a notepad and pen beside me. But the advancement on that idea is take a picture of the notepad.
Yeah. Well, that's what I do. Is in the photo albums I have, Rubik stuff.
You've got to have that. Yeah, you've got to have that. Well, you know what you're saying there? You've got to put stuff in out rather than have all the photos in one, because when you go and try and find it, you took another 200. You can't find what you took.
Oh, no. I anything that's of use, I put in favourites, and I don't have many favourites, maybe 10, 15 favourites that are all something to do with a reoccurring use. Otherwise, it's just a photo that I randomly go for.
Most of mine are Twitter replies, all the little GIFs and memes and clips from films. So when someone says something, you can quickly reply with like Arnie getting kitted up to go into battle or something. Or
you've got things ready to go.
Yeah, everybody has.
I haven't.
No,
I'm
you're
not
on Twitter.
No, it's true. I'm not up with the technology. People send things where someone's slow clapping or something like that. You think okay, very good.
Favorite one, everyone says it when someone's leaving Twitter, they're making a big song and dance about it. I use the Mickey Flanagan clip where he says, "Just go, you bender, go!" And as soon as someone will message me and say, "Justin, where's that GIF or meme or something?"
Yeah. You've got them all categorised.
Yeah.
Actually, when someone says, then they say, "I'm going there," you go, "All right, bye."
Yeah.
Well, really, they want you to say, then they come, stay.
No, you can stay.
But again, we grew up. Me and you, I'm sure you look younger than us.
We're first generation Star Wars. He's not even there.
He
wasn't there.
I was
born a year after the first one came out.
The New Hope, he was one, look.
But we all grew up in Carry On movies. Look at the innuendo in Carry On movies, weren't we?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it would be done now, would it?
I don't know. Would they find it funny?
Do you know who Matt Walsh is? Have you heard of the Daily Wire?
Yes.
He did that thing, What is a Woman?
Yes.
You heard that?
Yes.
Well, the Daily Wire company has made a film called Lady Ballers.
Yes.
You heard about this?
Yes. So seen a clip. Yes.
This is it. It's coming. It's like it's making fun of the trans movement. It's about a group of male athletes who can't win anything, and they cotton on to they can go enter in women's sports, and obviously it can't go on cinemas. So you've got to be a Daily Wire member. So I'm gonna probably do it this week. Sign up for a month to watch it, but it's got like a 96% Rotten Tomatoes score.
Yeah,
and it's really because the argument the argument is that obviously the critics can't get to it, they can't watch it unless you get past the paywall. So all the people rating it will be Daily Wire fans, but it's got to be good. You've seen the clips, and it's starting to. Hopefully, that's going to be the first of many.
I don't know whether it'll make me laugh or not, even though I completely agree with them. I mean, I find it so ridiculous. The weightlifter got upset because a man deliberately, a professional weightlifter, deliberately then entered the competition to beat a trans athlete. He then said, "I identify as a woman." So I don't know if you know the one about the weightlifter.
The one that did it on purpose,
he did it on purpose to then beat the trans athlete. This trans athlete weightlifting beat the woman's deadlift maybe by 100 pound or kilos. I'm not sure what they were working.
Probably kilos.
So 100 kilos difference is like absurd, isn't it, between categories? So the women are now never going to ever do it again. So this professional deadlift guy says, "I identify as a woman," and he comes in and beats the trans guy by another 100 kilos. And now he's basically me and you lifting weights because we would beat them. And now we're going against the professional weightlifter we couldn't beat.
I think the thing is with everything, it's been politicized. I think most people were of the do what you want to do as long as it doesn't affect my life. I don't give a monkey's. but it's been politicized to divide us perfectly. You know, Ukraine and Russia, Israel, COVID, are you vaxxed, are you unvaxxed? It's the perfect divide and conquer. And the meme I use a lot, which online is my favorite meme, is a picture of a king and his aide on the wall of the castle, and all the mob is there with their pitchforks and flame and torches, and they want to, like, you know, take him down. And the aide says to the king, you don't need to fight them. You just need to convince the pitchfork lot that the torch lot are trying to take their pitchforks, and vice versa. And they'll just fight each other and leave them alone. And it's like the thousands of years that strategy has worked, and we're still falling for it.
Yeah. It's happening now.
It's like, you know, probably on the page 1 of War and whatever the manual War. What's the
War and Peace?
Not War and Peace. The
Sun Tzu.
The Art of War.
Art of War. Sun Tzu.
Something like that. Yeah.
So you're not vaxxed. We're vaxxed, Dave. We work. He's not even vaxxed.
No.
Well, yes, it don't bother me if someone's vaxxed.
No, I don't
I
care.
don't care what anyone else is. You'll do what you want to do, don't you? It really don't matter, does it?
I got
Well,
a
that was
friend.
all we asked. It's just it was always freedom of choice, your body, your. This was the thing about in America. It's like, you know, your body, your choice. You know, for like abortions in America was the big subject. And as soon as it's COVID, it's not your body, your choice. We're telling you to take the thing or you're fired.
Mm.
No, that worked in reverse, didn't it? You got that the wrong way round, Justin. So the people who were pro-abortion were saying my body, my choice. And the right wing tended to be, no, you can't have abortions because we're telling you.
The right wing, but the right wing aren't in charge. Yeah.
But then the right wing were also, we don't want to have a vaccine because suddenly they'd gotten on, I don't know why it was.
Funny enough, the right wing were
anti-vax. And I don't know why it was a political divide, because really and truly it should have been a mental divide that had no political boundary. It should have been people thinking, I'm not going to do that and I am going to do that. But they then come out with, but it's my body, your choice. And then they were hit back with the argument, okay then, so abortion, my body, my choice. Oh no, that don't quite work for us.
Yeah, I think that's probably more the case in Canada, they did that. But in America, it's still very, like, because all the states can have their different right wing, left wing, you know, like Texas is very pro guns and what is it, blue? Is it called blue state?
Yeah.
And then California's like, trans this and do whatever you want to be and poo in the street and build tents and, you know, like all that kind of stuff, and rob stores for up to $900 and you won't get arrested, and weed is legal, just, you know, very, very liberal. Yeah. So all the states have their different policies. But, at the moment, it's been very much left-wing run, and the right are trying to slowly with... You know, Trump, what are you with Trump?
Oh, I think Trump's a complete and utter idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, come on. He's an idiot.
But he was fun, wasn't he?
But that was the thing. So, again, I'm going on my Elon Musk thing. I'm not very serious about this thing. I just think that it's more fun to watch Trump go to prison from an entertainment point of view. Thinking that Trump makes any sense or anything, that's ridiculous. But politicians in general are...
Well, people are saying that the people who predict what's going to happen... he's going to be a president from inside prison. He's going to go to prison.
Possible.
Voted in.
No, it's not possible.
He said it is. He said that's what they
said. You
said.
can't actually be...
Why can't you?
Because there's a thing, isn't it, in America? No. If you've been to prison, you can't vote.
It ain't about voting, is it? It's about being made. He can be president. He can become president.
This is the theory they have, that he'll be president.
And then go to prison?
No, or he'll be in jail
and
as president.
I don't think you can be on the ballot if you're in jail.
Don't know. That's what I've heard from, like, political pundits on.
But if he is in prison, right, then my view would change, because then I'd think to myself, it'd be very funny if he's president in prison. That would be more entertaining. So I'd look at it from the entertainment point of view.
You can be on the ballot, and I'll tell you why. I know it's a different country and it's here, but I don't know if you remember Bobby Sands.
Yes.
When he died, he became an MP, didn't he? They voted him in
after death.
Yes, but that's what I was saying. That's why I think maybe he could be president then in jail.
Well, you're comparing in jail to a dead body.
No, he was voted. Bobby Sands was elected before he died.
Oh, before he died?
Yeah, and he was in jail. Started when he was on a hunger strike. So possibly he could be.
He doesn't know Bobby Sands, do you?
I've heard the name.
Okay, because again, you said about the music, right? Now there's nearly a 20 years difference between me and Dave and you, nearly, and that's it. There's a whole thing that we know that you don't know, because you was talking about young people. There's a whole thing, like you said, they don't know Dire Straits,
which is weird, because I know Elvis, I know Jerry Lee Lewis,
yes,
I know Chuck Berry, I know View from what's the Cary Grant films, and I didn't watch a lot of them, but The Birds and Hitchcock. I know a lot of popular culture that goes right the way back to the 40s. I know.
But we were different, maybe. Just
The Wizard of Oz, and
I don't know. I said to my wife the other day, I don't know if I'm just getting old, because I know that when we was young, the old people said our music was shit, but the music is shit now. It is.
It is, because if you go to any disco, wedding, or whatever, and it's from someone who's 20, 30 years old, the music, there's a couple of songs from now, but it's all 70s music.
It's all classic.
Earth, Wind and Fire, Michael Jackson. It's
great songs.
I think it peaked like 60s to late 80s.
Yeah.
And then sort of dribbled on either side. You know, you got a bit of, there's some good stuff. There's some,
So my kids have always said the music stopped at 1990 because they were born in the 90s.
You know what, though? That ain't a bad shout for the date. There was some... No, I can't. Post 1990, it stopped about 1990.
Exactly. I mean, I didn't. All the Brit pop stuff, I was like, forget it. I was, Dire Straits, and I was Michael Jackson, Earth, Wind and Fire, all the 80s movies, and after the 90s, arguably 90s movies are the best decade of movies ever.
Mm-hmm.
Silence of the Lambs and Pulp Fiction, and
Usual
Suspects, and
when you think how long that's 1990s and the movies.
93, 30 years.
Jesus.
Jaws will be coming up to 50 years old in a couple of years, I think. 75.
Yeah, I think I read 75, 76 years, something like that it was, wasn't it?
It's still a good movie, though, isn't it?
Jaws?
Yeah, it's still a good movie.
I can't watch it again, though.
Couldn't you?
No, there's a couple of movies. Water. No. I might watch it again now, but there's one movie I cannot watch again, which was Saving Private Ryan. Can't watch that again. Reminds me of when I was in the army.
During the war.
No, that was...
I'm trying to... I don't know if I'm supposed to laugh at that. I'm trying to read
our jokes are shit.
All right.
Our jokes are shit. Really.
Speak for yourself.
Have you noticed as you age that you can't... That I can't watch films that are a tough watch that I was watching in my 20s. Somebody was putting up Requiem for a Dream the other day, and I think I watched that in my... probably my late 20s or early 30s, and it's about drugs. It's really tough watch. And I've watched things like the Pianist, which is the Jewish piano player.
Yep.
And when I watched it, I mean, I was like, it was brilliant. But I tried watching it. I got 20 minutes in. I can't. It was like I could feel the pain. And I don't know if it's because of age or we're just constantly bombarded through things like TV and social media. We're at saturation of how much we can cope with. And if you give me a film that's bad or tough watch, I haven't got any more room for that. Yeah. It's like, I can't. And another thing I've noticed that when you have watched something, I've noticed it a couple of times, when you've watched something hard and then you watch a comedy stand-up, you laugh 3 times as hard. It's like you really notice it.
Are you a Mickey Flanagan fan then?
I'm Chappelle, Flanagan, Bill Burr, Chris Rock, Chris Tucker, Segura, all of the non-PC, the better. Yeah. You cannot offend me. You can say anything.
Bill Burr. Bill Burr's good.
Yeah. In Boundaries, I like a guy called Anthony Jeselnik.
I don't know him. Never.
Yeah, he's got a special on YouTube. He really, he actually said that he tells jokes that he does get pulled on. He said, but that's my responsibility. If I say this stuff, people have the right to call me on it, and I've got to be able to defend it. Yeah. But it was a weird one. He started off as a joke writer for a show. Then he had his own show. And he said on one of his stand-ups that, I've watched it now. It's a deleted scene. He had his show cancelled because of it. He said he loved sharks, right? And he said, one day we're going to have something called a shark party when we're going to listen to the news, and the next person that gets eaten by a shark, it's not a joke. It's somebody in New Zealand did get eaten by a shark, and he had all these dancers in shark costumes. It's on YouTube. And he had death threats from New Zealand coming. And I said, yeah, we've got one for the team. We kill 100 million sharks a year. And now they've got one of ours as, revenge. Brilliant. Somebody died. And he got his show cancelled because of that. Wow. But he goes hard. He does a lot of paedophile. I'm not going to be able to tell it like him. But he said, he was telling the audience one of his opening jokes. And it's like, did you know that there's within 5 miles of where you live, there are 12... I found out recently there are 12 sex offenders within a 5-mile radius of where I lived. It really winds me up. And he says, because why have we always got to meet at my place? Yeah. And that was does a lot of
I knew he'd be part of the 12.
Yeah. And it's like another one's like Eric Clapton. was what's the, I'm going to screw it up. But he says, I had a son who died, and he died for this in the same way that Eric Clapton's son died.
For
inspiration. So his is for the joke.
So he can make a song.
Yeah. So it just goes hard. It's like you can see the audience go, they laugh, but they're like, he's really pushing the boundaries.
Isn't Jimmy Carr about the hardest?
Yeah, he's kind of like, he's very punny like that. He tells short, like you think he's going one way and then he switches it and he goes another way. Yeah. But Jimmy, I think, I'm a fan. I like Jimmy Carr. I'm not much of a fan of his. It's one of those things. It's just things that sort of mesh. Some comedians work with me. Like there's one called Andrew Schultz. He's been on Rogan. Super clever. But his joke taking is not for me. He's a bit too kind of bro-y, and he pushes hard into sort of things that, they are jokes, but they push too far for me. Not that it offends me, but I just don't want to watch it. You know, I just like the way Mickey Flanagan does jokes, or Chappelle, or Rock, or Jesselnick and stuff like that. And
they're all great.
Yeah, there'll be comedians that Rogan talks about. I'll go on and watch them. I'm like, this isn't crap. It's not for me. Not that they're not crap. They're not. For me.